Anthropology is the freaking store name. White women love shopping there.
What are they selling?
Women's clothing, accessories, and home goods. Beauty products.
Oh,
Mugs. Custom
Ooh.
mugs. Look at this. Look at this mug. Someone made this by
That's
hand.
a nice mug.
It's a really shitty mug. I could make this mug. And this shit costs like $20. But because it's artisanal, because it was handmade, and I'm like, bro, I can make this. I literally could make my own mug.
What are you bitching about? It's a gift.
I know, but like,
you got it for free, and yet you bitch about it being $20.
Because I can't believe she paid $20 for this, for this mug that like 5-year-old could make.
It's better than rectal prolapse.
Who would give you a rectal prolapse?
God.
No.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai. And joining me tonight, we have our poster extraordinaire, Natai. Shut the fuck up, Natai.
I didn't say even anything. What
yeah,
are you?
No, what the heck, dude?
Don't
you
have to say anything.
Bro, we're just vibing.
I was just vibing.
Yeah, this guy.
What
so
a
cranky.
party pooper. This
Jeez.
guy. Ugh.
It's not my fault I have a recognizable cadence to my voice. Anyway, we also have Razar source from Little John.
Hey, check out this new mug made exclusively at Anthropology.
How much did it cost to make?
How much did it cost you, John?
Listen, no one's gonna ever know how much I hate Anthropology. I don't understand this store.
Not the field of science, the store.
No, there is okay. First and foremost, there is a retail store called Anthropology. What does it sell? Nothing related to actual anthropology. It sells home goods for women and cups and shit. Like just things, stuff and things. And it's women love this store and I don't know why. I don't get it.
Imagine if there was an actual store.
Minutes.
Imagine if there was an actual store called Anthropology and the only thing they sold was like old fashioned. Like
see, that would make sense.
From the Roman Empire.
Literally,
days.
Anthropology is forever 21, but instead of the target demographic being 13-year-old girls, it's 30-year-old women.
I'm not gonna lie. For the past 20 minutes, for every time you said anthropology, in my brain, I thought entropy. I'm like, wait, what does it have to do with entropy? What the fuck? Yeah.
Anyway,
speaking of
entropy, we're here tonight to do a spoiler cast for Oshi no Ko, probably the biggest hit of the year so far, anime wise.
I'd say the year, yeah.
So far,
I'd say yeah.
So
probably made the biggest splash. I'd say yeah.
Yeah, sure, before we do like get into it, I do want to remind everyone out there, if you like what you see here, do give us a like, comment below, and also subscribe if you want to see more of Anime Club After Dark's stuff we got going on. But let's get into the technical info first so we can get that out of the way and the sort of non-spoilery stuff. So this anime was made by Doga Kobo. For those who may not know, Doga Kobo has worked on a few anime that I think those of us here on the podcast have liked over the years. We have New Game, Plastic Memories, that shitbox Umaru-chan.
I hated Umaru so much.
Oh no!
Absolutely
Who liked
hated. I don't know who. Why? Oh, dude,
the guy who doesn't have a sister.
Yeah, that's the guy who watches this anime and thinks, "Oh yeah, that's hot." not people who actually have siblings who are like, "I hate this so much because this is my younger sister to a T. I will fucking end her."
They also worked on Gabriel Dropout, which is another anime I really loved. Good God, can't like anything in this bitch.
No, absolutely not, dude.
Oshi no Ko was actually based on a manga that was written by Aka Akasaka, who is the creator of Kaguya-sama, and illustrated by Mengo Yokoyari, the mangaka behind Scum's Wish. And it kind of shows in the character designs, I think.
Now, I gotta say, so when we did the season preview, we were like, why is Oshi no Ko literally, I think it was like ranked 3 or 4 of the season, like anticipated
like
anime.
It was near the top.
Hyped.
It was near the top, and I was just like, I've never heard of this. And then we watched the trailer, and I was like, yo, Yoasobi's making the fucking OP. Like, I'm in. That's all I needed. I was like, this is a banger OP. I'm in.
Banger OP.
And
to be fair, that's a lot of stuff with you though. Like it's a banger OP. I'm there. I will be there no matter what.
I need. What's one good hook to get me to watch your show, producers? Anime Japan. Just make it a good music, make good song, good ED, good OP. I will watch, begrudgingly watch, just because that song is so good. But I remember I knew nothing about it other than Yoasobi did the OP, and I was like, okay. And then I kept listening to Yoasobi's Idol, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read the fucking manga. The anime's not even out yet.
You read it because of the OP?
Because of the OP, I read the stupid manga. And I marathoned it in 2 days, and I caught all the way up, and I was like, okay, I see why people are so hyped for this now. This shit is pretty crazy.
This man read a manga for an anime that doesn't even have an OP. Like the manga don't have an OP, John.
I know, but I was just like, you know what? The OP was so good that I skipped the anime and went straight to the manga.
What a speed run.
Yeah, literally speed running manga any percent right here.
And after I caught up to the manga, I was like, I finally watched the anime. And then in the comments, people were like, oh man, I can't believe this is the guy who made Kaguya-sama. And I was like, what? Who's the author of this? And I read, it's like
Akasaka. You didn't know?
I didn't know. And I was like, it came out of left field, bro. Like this story reminds me nothing of Kaguya. Like it doesn't have the same level of it's obviously not.
You still have that DNA though. You still have that DNA. It's just a very different tone.
It's a very different tone.
It's because it's so different from because all I know is Kaguya-sama from Akasaka. That's all, just the rom-com stuff, right? And it has little bits of comedy like that here or there in
the comedy is very similar.
It's very similar, but like the actual tone of the show, because of like what happens, literally the first arc and stuff like that, I was just like, it blew my mind. I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
which I think is credit to that dude as a writer. Like, if you can do something that's so different in tone and is equally well received, that's an example of a good writer in my mind.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of writers who get like stuck in the same rut. They write the same kind of stuff over and over again. It may be good.
Stephen King.
Yeah, Stephen King is a good example. Like, and I would argue that Stephen King's like the stuff that isn't like magic or like what's the phrase?
Horror.
Like
Supernatural.
the non-horror stuff that he writes is better than his horror stuff, which is what he's fucking known for. Like Misery's fucking great. You'd never imagine that Stephen King wrote it, but he did.
Isn't Dark Tower series like basically just a fantasy series? It's like non-horror. Like there are no elements of horror in it.
Is that Stephen King?
Yeah,
that's Stephen King.
I did not know that. Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think credit to the writer for being able to switch it up like that.
But it's so cool, like how you can still see that DNA, because that comedy is still very similar. Like back in Kaguya-sama, some of the jokes and things they would set up were built on all these like very specific tidbits of information that you'd be like, oh, I did not know like this works like that, and it's still the same here, like to a T, but just very specific to the subject matter. It's like it's very, very smart writing. It's like I was very excited when I heard it's the same mangaka, and like I was like blown away. By what it can do.
See,
so cool.
I don't remember who had it on their list of talking about Oshinoko, but they didn't tell me that it was written by Akasaka. Was it you? You didn't mention it, bro.
I said it is. I said it was.
No, you didn't.
I said it's the... Roll the clip. Roll the clip, bro.
I honestly, I don't remember. There's a couple
After
months
we stop
ago. I don't
recording,
remember.
I'm gonna go check. I'm pretty sure.
Bro, go check. Like, let me know, because I probably just wasn't paying attention like I normally do.
John, the typical man, not paying attention to me at all.
I really don't. So the guy who directed this is Daisuke Hiramaki, who hasn't done a whole lot of directing work, especially like project directing. He's done like Asteroid in Love, Wataten, Selection Project, but he's been a key animator on several dozen anime series in his career. So like the dude knows his stuff. He just not super super experienced with project directing, but I have to say, did a fucking phenomenal job with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Oshinoko, like that first episode being, how long was it?
It's the best, like
just shy of an hour and a half.
Yeah,
just shy of an hour and a half.
An hour and
like
a half
that,
almost. Yeah.
I'm so glad that they did that. It set the tone for the show, and it hooks you right away. Like, I mean, I can't. It didn't hook me right away because, again, just the OP from the trailer alone hooked me. Like, I was so easily baited into just reading Oshinoko. But yeah,
I was going to ask. I think this might be a good time to ask. Like, so this is becoming a trend in anime where we have these like feature length or even longer first episodes in anime that have the entire prologue to the story. Do you think that in this instance, I think it worked out really well? But do you think as a trend that's a
very
good thing?
soon with the what's its name, Frieren anime that's coming out?
Yeah, that's coming out in the fall.
Yeah,
it's going to be a 2-hour long
like,
at first episode.
So the thing is, typical structure for an anime production is 3 episodes per volume, right? That's generally how it goes, like which is like about 60 minutes. So if we look at it from that point of view, using the first volume and condensing that into an hour and a half, which is 90 minutes, it's like almost 5 episodes worth of content.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, obviously when something is very story driven and story heavy, the more time you spend building it and getting people immersed in it, the better it's going to have an impact on people.
But think about it. It's kind of crazy how how they structured it here. It's almost like we have 11 episodes, but it's almost like we have 3 extra episodes instead of that first one, right? It's like a lot of extra work probably in terms of planning.
There's
but
like 15 episodes worth of content.
Yeah, but I think what's so cool, I think a friend of the show, Ian, actually, we talked about it, and he's like, I'm so happy some shows can now do the prologue section in the first episode that we could just go, because there are a lot of shows where you get to like back like the 3-episode rule, right? That people used to have. It's literally it. Like put it in just 1 episode.
Yeah. I mean, they did the same thing with ReZero in the first episode of ReZero.
That was 50 minutes, right? That was like 2 episodes stitched together.
Yeah, it was a double-length episode.
It was 1A and 1B. Remember, there was like a little like.
And that confused me. That confused the hell out of me. The first time I saw, I was like, "Is every episode gonna have an A and a B side? Like, what the hell?"
It's like a little freaking mixtape, dude.
I know.
Yeah, but with shows doing the prologue in the first episode and just giving us, literally, it's a movie, right? The first episode is the movie length, and I'm like, I like this so much. However, I also realize this is a lot of money and budget to go into it, and I understand that for someone like Akasaka, he got hella money because of Kaguya, right? Like after season 1 of Kaguya, it blew the fuck up, and they just like threw hella budget at season 2 and subsequently season 3, and then we have season 4, which I have mixed feelings about, just because I was just like,
I haven't seen it yet.
I have mixed feelings because it's not long enough. I needed more, but I was like, I know why they did it. Anyway, point is, they just gave Akasaka the budget that was required. So I understand that with Oshinoko, Akasaka was super popular anyway because of Kaguya. So it's like, well, it's a really good manga series. It sells really fucking well. Maybe we should throw all the money at it and let it fucking breathe. And it did.
I think it paid off for them.
It did.
Extremely.
It paid in dividends. It's so fucking popular.
Yeah. This is the most surprising thing about this. The dude who wrote the screenplay for this series is the same dude who wrote the screenplay for Yuru Camp. Jesus Christ. Jin Tanaka, the dude has been the principal script writer of Yuru Camp and Happy and the Misfit of Demon King Academy. What a resume.
Crazy.
I don't know how you go from Yuru Camp to this, but good job.
Misfit of Demon Academy, like that one. Writing a screenplay for Misfit of Demon Academy, I feel like it's very different from. Well, it's a great time, because it's just like, you thought I'd die simply because you killed me, you fool. I'm the demon lord.
Absolute fool.
You absolute buffoon.
It shows him the rifle.
Dude, it's so. I do think the writing in the series though is really well done. Like, it's tightly knit. No, there's not a lot of parts that I feel like are badly written.
So I want to say that because I read it before I watched it, I think that the anime did a lot better job at turning it into something pleasurable for viewing. It took a lot more time to develop the characters. It felt a lot more like I was watching a drama. Like it was just watching a drama versus just like, you know, like, because sometimes you'll watch like an anime drama and it's more anime than drama versus like watching an actual drama, which is like, holy shit, there's so much development going on and there's emotion. We got to give them time to breathe, and you know, like there's subtle pauses and stuff like that.
Ongoing story,
an ongoing overarching story.
I saw like one video about someone like talking about the manga because I was like curious to see what it was like, at least before we like did this podcast, and it seemed they also like weren't afraid to change some stuff around. Like, so in that first prologue, probably there's a lot of foreshadowing towards like the climax of that prologue, which is completely omitted from the anime version, which is a really smart idea to, you know, make that event so much more impact, like have more impact, you know.
But
yeah,
so
I mean,
it's cool that they managed to like
kind of. So my problem is that in the trailer for the anime is where they hit all the build up. Like the trailer of the
that's
of
why
the
you
anime.
don't watch trailer, boys.
Yeah, no, the trailer of the anime had literally all the build up points from the manga in it. But I mean, the only thing I really remember the most about the trailer is the fucking when Yosobi's idol is playing, and then you see the babies. Like, that scene alone, I was just like, that 7 seconds of listening to Idol plus that the babies doing the otaku dance stuff with the light sticks, I was just like, I'm in. I can't. Like, it's too good. It's too good. So,
but Natai, you know you can't change anything from the source material. Didn't you learn anything from Chainsaw Man?
I know, right?
Oh my God.
What did I think to myself?
Why would you even think to change a thing? It literally has to be a 1-to-1 adaptation.
So it's the same thing with like I was just talking to my wife about this. We were talking about, what was it? Was it The Shining? Kubrick did
The Shining.
Shining.
It's The Shining, right?
Kubrick did The Shining. Yeah,
he did The Shining, and I love the movie version. I love Jack Nicholson and stuff like that. I loved Kubrick's vision. I really like Kubrick films in general. But I believe Stephen King hated The Shining, like Kubrick's version.
It's very different from the book.
Stephen King very famously hated the movie.
And then my wife was telling me, she's like, did you know that Stephen King made his own version of The Shining? I'm like, no. And it's like, yeah, and it sucked so bad. And I'm like, wow. It's almost like famous directors are actually, you know, and writers
good at their job,
movies know what they're doing. Holy crap, dude. Yeah. Who would have thought that this person who professionally makes movies would probably be a better director? Because this also made me think of 50 Shades of Grey. So 50 Shades of Grey is a fan fiction written by a woman who was who read Twilight and was like, I'm gonna make a fan fiction where Edward, instead of being a vampire, his superpower is he's gonna be rich,
a billionaire. Yeah,
yeah, like that's his superpower. And so I was watching a documentary about this, or a video on YouTube, video essay, where it's like,
is that the Folding Ideas video about it?
I don't remember. I just remember that the person was analyzing it, was like, he's basically saying there are parts of the movie where it's really good because the actors in it are not bad, but the parts that are good inside of 50 Shades of Grey. I know
which video you're talking about. It's a really good watch.
So the good parts of the 50 Shades of Grey movie is when the director got to actually direct, because one of the conditions for adapting 50 Shades of Grey into a movie was the writer. She was like, the author of the book was that I have final say on what needs to be kept and what doesn't. So all those really dumb scenes inside of the movie that I'm just like, this is so stupid. Who wrote this? Like a 5-year-old wrote this. Those are like based on the source material. And it's like, it doesn't work.
Let's be honest. That source material in itself is literal shit, right?
Yes.
So it's like shit. you have like a talented director trying to like deal with the hand they got, right? And actually elevate the material. And it's like, no, like, because the author has so much like ownership over it to that
and I get extent. It, you know, like they, you know, as a creator, right, you had a specific vision that you had of what it was like. It's the same reason why Tolkien's son hated the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He absolutely hated it because it's like, it's not faithful to the series at all, the book series. It's way deeper than that. And it's like, yes,
it's a great adaptation.
We don't have 10 hours to do per area, dude. Like,
oh, I don't know. I think that Lord of the Rings fans would sit through a 10-hour movie.
I mean, I would, yes, but I'm saying
Yeah,
there are certain calls that need to be changed from source material because you have to adapt it for the silver screen, for the big screen.
For a new
Right.
medium.
sure.
And I feel like the changes that they made in The Shining and the changes that were made in 50 Shades of Grey, it's very similar to like Oshi no Ko, where the director and the writers were like, all right, we're going to change these things because it makes more sense as an anime drama to change it
Right.
like and present it like this. And I absolutely loved it. Is a
Which,
very...
by the way, the story gets super meta about that in about the midway point.
Yeah, and so to me, I don't think, like, obviously source material. I think sometimes the source material is really good and you shouldn't change too much. But I also do believe that directors have a right to express their vision. So there was another anime airing this season that basically adapted the manga frame by frame. And I absolutely adored it. It's Skip and Loafer. Like the first episode adapted the first couple chapters, or the first chapter, frame by fucking frame. And I was just like, it blew my mind because I was like, I've never seen an anime get adapted from a manga that was literally frame by frame what the manga panel was. That's insane. Who does that? No one does. They usually change things. And it's because the source material was strong enough that that's fine. But sometimes your source material isn't strong enough. Then you got to make some changes. Like ReZero, for example, I don't think the source material is strong enough to like adapt that one by one for one. Having like a director and a actual anime writer rewrite the script for a show made it way better.
But sometimes, again, it's a matter of like you talk about the vision. It's like sometimes you have like I would assume good source material like Oshi no Ko, and they see an opportunity to truly like make it an adaptation and like use the benefits you get from animation and elevate it. And I think at least like to me, the first episode is I think the best one in terms of direction alone. I think it's my favorite episode because there's so many moments you're like, this like it's elevated because of they use the tools that they have in this medium.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's just like so Spy Family, right? Spy Family, right. When Wit and who's the other studio?
Wit and Cloverworks.
Cloverworks. When Wit and Cloverworks made Spy Family, they didn't adapt everything one for one. They added a bunch of actual stuff into it. Like not a bunch, but they added things into it which helped breathe more life into it for an anime. Like I remember I was DMing you, Natai, about like the certain changes that they did in certain like the Bond episode where they like completely for this 5-minute section they have just new things in it that just they didn't have to put in, but they did, and it was great. I loved it. It made me love the character of Anya and Bond even more. Because in the manga, it's like, yes, here are the main points that it had to focus on, right? It's just like with Oshi no Ko. Here are the main points. Here's what you need to translate. But the in between, you've got things you have to leverage the music, right? You got to leverage how you're going to frame this scene, how it's going to play out, right? And it's like that can be adapted to the director's vision to make it and enhance the source material. So unlike with Chainsaw Man, where I still don't understand why the Japanese fans were like, it's not one for one. I was like, I don't get that. Like, it's again, an anime. I say this and it's like, I think about Overlord, and I'm just like, I kind of wish they adapted Overlord one for one, but I know that's pretty tough sell
with better animation.
Yeah.
But like, it's I don't know, man. I want directors and writers and stuff of an anime production to be able to put their style and spin on it, their interpretation and stuff like that. However, if your source material is extremely strong, because Chainsaw Man's source material is extremely strong, but it's as long as it's additive, it's fine.
Yeah,
as long as it adds something to the experience.
Yeah, if it's additive to it, then it's great.
Like if you're adding like more backstory into a character, I think that's fine. As long as it makes sense in the story you're telling.
But again, it's even more than like adding just like content to the show. Just like try like do more. Like, okay, you're having the scene of two characters talking to each other. How are you framing it? It's just gonna be a boring like back and forth. You're going to try and use the camera more. Like, do something. You have all these incredible tools and artists at your disposal. Just like give it extra life. Give it that extra thing that like makes like viewers connected with it even more and makes it more memorable, like with Chainsaw Man and Oshinoko, as you can see with its success.
Yeah. Speaking of Oshinoko, let's talk about the music real quick before we actually get into some spoiler territory. So the music for this series was composed by Takuro Iga, who also composed the music for Tsukigakure, Wataten, and Magical Girl Raising Project.
MGRP? Oh, bro, okay.
I know, right?
Okay.
The music... I won't say that the music, like the composed music, is like super memorable, but I think it's good for what it is. Like, it does its job.
I don't think the OST, other than the OP and the ED,
which we'll talk about,
I don't think the actual OST was bad. Because if it was bad, I would remember that.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't outstanding either.
Yeah. It wasn't like the Chainsaw Man OST.
It sometimes felt like it was noticeable, but not in a way that felt like that complementary to what I'm watching. I was like, I noticed the soundtrack, but it's like it felt distracting. Like it felt kind of like overcompensating even sometimes. Like it felt too much like involved and tried to get me to emotion, like feel something when like the characters and the writing already do that on their own. It's like, I don't know. I kind of...
Do you know, I could actually say the exact same thing about how this dude composed the OST for Magical Girl Raising Project. It's like the music is trying to overcompensate for a lack of something in the scene.
I mean, my problem with MGRP was like they literally showed you the ending of the anime within the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what? You show me who's gonna survive to the end. So what's the point? Like now you're gonna introduce all these other magical girls, but I'm like, I know they die though.
If you like watching brutal deaths,
I guess. I mean, I get that it's not about the ending, it's about the journey, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But as John has mentioned several times already, the OP was done by Yoasobi. It is the song Idol.
Oh my god. Idol. Oh my god, dude. This song is so good. I cannot express. Like I said, it was so good that it made me go read the manga. I didn't even watch the anime. I went to go read the manga. Because it was, the song is too good. It's too good. And I just kept posting more and more of it.
I love how when you read the lyrics of the song, it's literally she wrote a song like for I. It's like a character song for her.
It's about
it's
I.
Like, so good. Yeah, it's about her. And the visuals. Oh my god.
The song is,
I would like to point out that this song got super popular. It had 100 million worldwide streams on Spotify within 2 weeks of its premiere on the platform.
Now,
didn't reach number 1 on the global charts.
To be fair, though, Yoasobi has been getting really popular lately.
That's true.
Because Running Into the Night kind of put her on the map of everyone listens to Yoasobi now.
Yes.
Yeah. That song was massive.
Yeah. To answer Natai's question, it reached number 1 on Billboard's Global 200 US charts and Apple Music's Top 100.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was because of me, actually.
It was just so John sitting there with 18 different tablets just getting replay.
100 different
you have
tablets.
The section, you have the section in the OP where it cuts to Aqua looking at the crowd with the light sticks. All of them are just John.
Yeah, that's all just me.
It's all just John.
I thought about getting
I love that
my
cut,
light
by the way.
stick. It's right there. It's hanging. Oh, well, wait. There it is. It's right there. There's my light. I thought about putting batteries in it so I could do a bit with it. Do the babu babu babu. I was like, no, that's too much.
The ED is also by Mephisto by Queen Bee.
Pretty good too. It's a really good. Have you guys seen the music video for Mephisto?
I have not.
I haven't. Why?
Okay, it basically everything inside of the video for Mephisto is basically the first episode of Oshinoko.
Oh, okay. I mean, in the ED itself, it kind of you have in the background with the static filter over there, you have imagery from the first episode. It's a great ED. I love
I was talking about
tone.
Just the ED for Mephisto, the actual
oh yeah,
the live action version of the actual music video for Mephisto is basically the first episode of what happens in Oshinoko. Like the same concept of like
I thought when you said that, I thought you meant
like
the actual like music video for the band.
Yeah,
like you know how the bands will sometimes make their own music videos for like OPs and EDs.
Yeah, the band's
like with Idol
music
by
video.
Yoasobi.
Yeah,
that music video is pretty sick.
I do like how in the ED they use that like static and a film grain filter over it to make it kind of seem like it's reliving past memories.
It's basically
really like Queen Bee's style of like low tone voice
vocals
into the super high falsetto, and I'm just like, dude, how the fuck?
His vocals are incredible.
Teach me your ways.
That's basically what they're shooting for, right? Because it's like, especially the end where it's like Aqua, like, you know, being like moody and all with his memories being like in golden filter, kind of like that's what drives him throughout the show.
Then, like
right?
he falls into the water and then it does the high pitch thing, like da 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 da, and I was like, cool. Why is this song so good?
Yeah, right.
So good.
Visually though, I think the OP might be my favorite OP this year in the visual sense. Like it's so good.
Yeah, just the visuals I think are really, really good for the OP. It's
going
to be a strong. It's going to be a strong contender in our awards show for OP of the year.
And like, I think the OP could have been done better. I feel like it could have been animated a lot more. Because like a lot of it is just like stills
insane.
It could be better, bro. It could be better.
The OP, like the way the camera spins around, like near the end of the song, it like cuts to like Aqua looking for her, and then it like finally turns on to face her for the first time in that OP. And as we zoom into her eyes, like it crashes down when Aqua tries to reach us, because again, he can't find the truth. He's like it's like a metaphor to that. It's so good. It looks incredible. So smooth as well.
Can I just say, I know that this is not necessarily a show that's just about idols, but there are idol performances that you do see in this. And since Natai mentioned
it's an idol show to some extent.
The whole way that like the camera pans around in the OP. I just want to say, in the idol performances we do see, I'm very thankful that they didn't go with the tried and true method of just 3D CGing the shit out of that entire performance.
I was shocked that all the performances looked so good.
Listen, I know that it's a
Don't you want to watch Zombieland Saga again?
I almost think that it's parody than Zombieland Saga in the same way that, like, I don't know, Konosuba parodies shitty isekai tropes, but I'm just glad that they didn't, because I think
when it comes to listen, 3D CG, it's a lot easier to rig a model and make it dance than it is to hand draw a dancing sequence with a rotating camera.
And there is still some 3D CG like help in these scenes, but it's not like a crutch that they're using. I don't know. I want to like shout out to the animators and the in-between animators who worked on those performances, because I'm sure that took a lot of time and effort.
All right. We've talked at length about just the information and how much we've liked it. Like I said, I didn't understand why it was so popular. Then I read it and I was like, okay, I get why it's so fucking popular. It makes sense now. I see, but I mean, people are, you know how manga like read or source material readers are, right? It's like, oh, this is the best thing in the world.
John.
Then it gets a
we know, John. We know exactly how they are.
We have one right there.
So you can never take their fucking word seriously, right here. Because you know source material readers are the absolute fucking worst, man. They will think that whatever they're reading is literally the word of God. It is the best thing you've ever heard. And it's like, and then you watch the anime and you're like, yeah, it was kind of whatever. And then it's always like, oh, well, the anime didn't do that well of a job at portraying. You should just go read it. You know?
But you need the angry video game. Like, well, actually.
well, actually. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the story.
Oh my God. I want to spoil this so much. Anyway, you guys should watch Oshinoko. Now,
yeah,
big spoiler warning. We're spoiling it now. You can click off if you don't want to listen to spoilers.
Let's talk about the setup in the first episode.
Okay.
So this is a tensei, right? Like this is a reincarnation story. Yeah. So we start out seeing the dude as no, it's not.
It's the same.
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
I mean, figuratively, he's in a very different world, but. No, so the main character dude starts out as a gynecologist, or no, OBGYN, not a gynecologist. Or is he a gynecologist?
No, he's just a doctor,
he's a doctor.
He's a doctor in the countryside.
Doctor. He's a country
Sensei.
doctor. He's a country doctor, just like Bones in Star Trek. But yeah, so I comes into his office one day and she's pregnant and she's also 16, which is disturbing.
Who is I though?
I is an idol.
The biggest
really
idol.
Likes. And also he likes her because one of his former patients who died really liked her a lot too. And that becomes a big plot point. That's
there's so much I can say, but you guys don't read it. I know so much information, bro. I know so much.
Oh, future knowledge coming in.
Future knowledge. Oh man, shit.
But no. So first, like immediately we get our first hint that this is going to be like a story that doesn't necessarily paint the entertainment industry in the best light, because we have a 16-year-old idol who is, what is it, like 20 weeks pregnant with twins?
Yeah.
And not telling anyone who the actual father is. I don't know exactly how that works in Japan, but okay. A little creepy, but I'll go with it.
I mean, it's like it's not much of a dark secret that entertainment industry is very fucking sleazy, right?
Which is something that this anime delves into.
This anime shows a lot of like the dark sides of the entertainment industry, which is stories that we know exist, but we don't know how common it is. Stories that we've seen, obviously other stories about, like Hollywood stories, but it's like the more people come out and talk about like the fucking Harvey Weinstein stuff, and it's just like,
it's almost like a 21st century version of Perfect Blue, am I right? Like continuing that thread. Kind of carries a lot of themes pretty much from Perfect Blue, which is very, very interesting.
So I know, John, you read it before you watched it, but when you were reading the opening chapters, did you think that there was going to be like this super heel turn at the end where the dude gets reincarnated after he gets killed?
Yeah, no, the reincarnation thing. Right. So what?
In the manga, that's the thing. They kind of allude to it to some extent.
Yeah,
they give you a bit of foreshadowing.
They keep foreshadowing it in the manga in the first couple chapters. In the first volume, they'll keep foreshadowing like I actually getting killed and like figuring out like what happened.
Yeah,
it's very obvious. So which is why
in the show I like how they changed that.
Yeah, where you don't know it at all.
Yeah, so for me, as someone who wasn't watching or who wasn't reading the source material, like I didn't know until the end like what the big heel turn was going to be. I certainly didn't know that the dude was going to die. That
was in the trailer, but okay.
I mean,
I don't watch trailers.
I didn't watch the trailer. To be perfectly honest. But no, the dude like halfway through this episode fucking gets ganked on the way to help deliver Ai's baby by someone who's been stalking Ai, which is part of the reason why she went out to the country to have the baby.
Seems like
the president of Ichigo Productions was like, well, if you're pregnant, we got to keep it hush hush. So it's easier to keep, like 15 mouths shut than going to a major hospital.
I think he knew about that stalker. I think.
I don't know if they knew about the stalker.
I can't say nothing about the stalker. I'm not gonna say nothing. Don't worry, it's fine.
But no, the dude didn't get reincarnated as one of Ai's twins, Aquamarine, or as we will call him from now on, Aqua, who is not stupid.
I love that she called him Aquamarine. So stupid.
Such a weird name for a dude.
Because her name is Hoshino. Hoshino.
Which is star, right?
Yeah.
Isn't Hoshino is a star? Right?
I don't move her that well, bro. Listen.
I think I'll check. But yeah.
I don't know.
It's because it's glittery and sparkly, so she named him Aquamarine, and his younger sister is Ruby. They're gems. They're gemstones.
Gemstones. Who we come to find out, Ruby is also the reincarnated version of our doctor dude's dead patients.
Yeah. Which is like,
and they don't know.
How does that work?
They don't know.
She literally died like
a year, more than a year, wasn't it?
A year or more. before he did, but they reincarnated at the same time. So it's like, okay, this is kind of a weird, like, obviously Tensei reincarnation doesn't actually exist. So
reincarnation.
It just works, bro.
Just hand wave it. Just hand wave it.
But
stop it, Todd Howard.
It's
how
super
do
funny
transporters work in Star Trek? Don't think about it.
So it's funny because as the audience, we know, because we're the audience, right? We know that this is what Ruby was saying, this is what Aqua was saying, and it's like, oh, they know each other, but they don't know each other.
But they don't know it's them.
Yeah. Also, I like how
I hate that.
You
kind of hate that. Because it sets up a really problematic ending to this series, which I'm not. I'm not here for it.
The one that Alex keeps fucking pushing. You piece of shit.
No incest
Alex.
for me, buddy. I'm good.
Get out of here.
I'm here for this shit.
No.
Anyway, I like how in the first like I don't know, year or so of them realizing that they were both reincarnated, they Rugrats the hell out of this shit. It's like, we can talk to each other, but don't talk to the adults.
The way they bullied the manager's wife.
Oh, man, they try to be like the
we are the reincarnation of Izanagi.
When they take the poses when they're sitting up like on the table.
That was funny. I was laughing my ass off.
If you follow our word, we promise you will be married to very hot men and be very rich in the future
and successful.
Look how far that took her.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I love how that was like the beginning of their relationship, but then like it just like it gets dropped. Like it never gets brought up ever again. That
they're like totally normal with each other now.
Yeah, like I'm like the manager's wife is like, or the president's wife is like, she's freaked out by these freaky twins, and now all of a sudden that
they're Rudy all over again.
Yeah, it is like, Rudy.
But it's
which
like,
can I say that's kind of what I was expecting almost. Like I thought that when we have the Tensei moment and they get reincarnated, and of course we're seeing time skips as well. Like there's like a year time skip and then like a 2-year time skip. I thought that was what the whole series was going to be. Like it was just going to be them, like so often there'd be a time skip and you'd see them like as the children of this idol trying to go through the entertainment industry and maybe getting chewed up and spit out at some points, and like them trying to make her like career last longer behind the scenes. That's what I thought the setup was going to be.
Yeah. Bro, they brought Rie Takahashi. Of course she'll stick around, right?
Yeah, it's right? Rie Takahashi. They got Rie Takahashi, the hottest thing going in anime voice acting, by the way, today.
She nailed it. She was so good, like in this part. She was so like, they all the time talk about how captivating her performance is. And like Rie Takahashi's actual performance is really captivating, like she pulls you in,
It reminds me of how Hitchcock handled Psycho. Spoilers for anyone who's never seen the movie Psycho, but the main character gets killed halfway through the movie.
Nice.
Which is what happens to Ai. Like at the end of the first episode, she gets ganked.
Yeah,
but the crazy thing is,
I was not expecting that.
They somehow give her an arc throughout this entire first episode.
They do.
Like, I love the sort of the point they're trying to make of how like this entire industry is built on lies and lying to your audience, and with all these different characters, you see different points of views of that idea of like lying, like for your audience or to each other, and the truth is somewhere between those lies. And when she gets to the end of the episode, she's like, "Oh no! Like this is like I actually do love these kids. It's not even a lie anymore. It's the actual truth." But it's her dying moment. That's when she realizes it's like so powerful. So
it's amazing how a stab through the gut will change your perspective.
Yeah, I love that scene. It's so powerful.
It is. Yeah, that's how the first episode really ends. Like how do you think they handled that? Because I think it couldn't have gone any better.
I thought it was really good. Like
great twist.
I thought it was way better than how the manga did it, to be honest. Because like I said, in the manga, they foreshadowed everything that was going to happen. Like from literally the second chapter onward, you're like, oh, something's going down. Like I think Ai's going to die. But
it's,
in the anime, like you definitely don't see that coming in the anime. You're like, hold on, what? Rie Takahashi dies? Whoa, bro, what the fuck?
Again, it's like
we just got here, man. We just sat down.
It's definitely my.
Who starts a conversation like this?
Oh man. So like I think it's really strong first episode to just like anyone watching that first episode, like every single person I've talked to were because I have a couple people who asked like, "Hey, what should I watch?" I was like, "All right, Oshinoko is apparently really popular, and I thought the first episode was amazing. Watch the first episode, see if you like it." And every single person I recommended it to went and did the exact same thing. They went, "Yo, what the fuck? This was a really strong first episode." I'm like, "Right."
It's great. It's
I
almost too good of a first episode.
Someone posted it in our Discord. So it may have been you, John. A comparison of like that scene in the anime where like the life goes out of eyes. Weird way to say that. But
get used to that, yeah.
And yeah, and they show like a comparison between that like shot in the anime and in the manga, and it's like almost identical, and it's so creepy. It may have been you that posted it.
No,
I can't remember.
I don't think it was me. I don't think it was me that posted that.
But anyway, it's really uncanny how like close it is to the manga, like that specific shot. But it is super creepy. Like the sight of the life that's just gone out of her eyes.
Yeah, you just don't add white little dots into it because now that the light of their eyes is dead.
I love how they play with that, like with their eyes throughout the show, like with Aqua especially. Like most of the time, like that light, his mother's light that's in his eyes, like all black because he's consumed in his revenge quest.
Yeah,
but every now and then,
no, that's a running theme in the show.
Yeah, it lights up when he thinks about her again, or like maybe he has a revelation, it lights up again. And then when he's like scheming and like building these like these plans, it's like going back to being like all dark. It's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, when he's cold and calculated, it doesn't shine. But then when he's having when he's actually like thinking of eye, it like starts shining. It's really good. And that's something that you can really only get across in anime, right? That's one of the decisions that it doesn't really exist in the manga because you can obviously you can put like little sparklies next to it and try to show it, but it's not as strong as the anime would do it.
The only way that would work in a manga is if it was a full color manga.
And it can either be white or black. It's you don't have it. It can still be in black and white. Might not be as like effective, but
yeah, we go for after the end of that first episode, we go from like an idol drama with a little bit of comedy that has a tensei bent to it, straight up into a revenge conspiracy.
Yeah, but I will say that after that heel turn on the first episode, then you jump into like just like a comedy drama, and you're just like, what the fuck happened? Yeah. It's just like sprinkles little like bits of like, don't forget, it's a murder mystery, guys.
It's kind of like, I don't know if it's detrimental, but it sometimes, because that hook is so strong, it's so fascinating and interesting, it's like you want to know the answer to that mystery. It's you kind of need to let go of it to enjoy the show more. So it won't be like, but when are we gonna get more progression on that storyline? Because I want to know what's gonna happen.
I personally like that. I can
only say, without spoiling too much, okay. There's a point to it. There is a point to how it's being structured. That's all I can really say.
I bet there is.
I mentioned this to Natai a couple of days ago. It's like one thing I actually did like about the story that while yes, there is the overarching plot of like Aqua trying to find out who their father is because he's convinced that whoever their real father is the one who leaked Ai's address to the stalker that killed her.
Yeah, because right before she gets murdered, calls the baby daddy. And it's like, the kids are really cute. They're growing up. Maybe you should come see them. Yeah, here's my new address. And then, 30 minutes after 30 minutes after I tells the baby daddy, here's the address, the stalker shows up. So it's like, obviously.
It's more like a few days after, but yeah.
Yeah, right? But some time passes.
Yeah, but like the only, so at this junction, we only know there's only 2 or 3 other people, or rather, there should be only 3 people who know this location now, right?
Right.
Her president, the president's wife, and now the baby daddy. And it's like, all right, well, if, in typical, because I like watching murder mysteries a lot, and I'm like, who done it, right? I can figure it out. I can literally, by the second episode, figure out who did it.
Did you figure it out?
I mean, we know it's the baby daddy.
but who is it?
But who is it? That's the
Oh, I
who
mean,
done
the
it
manga
part.
finally revealed it a couple like chapters ago, so I know who the baby daddy is. But like, you kind of just it gets sat on the back burner. You just got to remember, like, he's still
Yeah.
looking for it, and that's everything that Aqua does. He's being fueled by that. Every single thing
Yeah.
that he is doing.
I like though because especially how it's done in the anime. I don't know exactly how it's done in the manga, but in the anime, it's like whenever we're not focused on this like revenge plot, trying to find the baby daddy and or the stalker, uh, well, we're focusing on like character development, and I love that because we're focusing on something all the time. There's very little actual downtime in the way the story is structured, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
just
can I just
yeah.
say, literally, so in the in the first episode at the end, right when I get stabbed, you've got Ruby on the other side of the door, who's
Yeah.
literally dead, dying on this side of the door, and here's Aqua like in her lap,
Right next to her.
and I'm just like, how fucked up is that? Like, I don't. It's fucked up if you were a kid and that happened, right? But as a kid, when dramatic things happen, you tend to forget and block that out. But Aqua's a grown ass man, and this is his favorite idol of all time, literally dying in front of his eyes. Do you understand how traumatic that would be for a person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The way
Like, to
they
watch the
present his
person
like
that you
thought
love,
process.
not only
Yeah.
is it the person that you love, this person is also now your mother, and it's also the person you love the most in the world, literally dying in your while you're in their lap, and it's nothing you can do about it. It's just like, God, dude, it was so powerful.
That
And
scene where he's like in the
there's
back of the
freaking
car and he like realizes that like, oh, the father is the one who's like leaked that information, and you see like the animation where it's like collapsing, like the crows like slowly fold back into him. It's like his eyes. It's like he has this new fuel in his life that's like driving him now. It's like so good. It's almost like a Death Note scene how they present him, like this scheming little kid. It's so powerful. Like it's such a good hook for the show. It's like
It is.
yeah.
And then Aqua becomes an actor.
yeah, because he has to become an actor, because that's just like he needs to be in the entertainment industry, because he figures that, okay, well, I was in the idol industry, so my father has to be someone who's in the entertainment industry as well. So it's like, what's the easiest way for him to do that? Well, he did a little bit of acting.
Yeah,
so
as a child actor.
Yeah, as a child actor. Though he wanted to be more in the background, like a stagehand, than anything else, which is why the director that he helps out when he is the actor takes him on as like an apprentice.
Yeah, a protege.
Yeah, he works as an editor as well for that old timer directory as well.
Yeah. And he also starts working with Kana again, who is someone he met as a child actor, who when they first met, she was like the child acting genius, who is now like...
Her character is very interesting. Like, I love the process of how like everyone treated her like a genius as a child. So she's like super arrogant. But then after these events, and how like her acting career as a child just sort of like dissolved it on itself.
Which happens to a lot of child actors.
Yeah. She then sort of like tries to overcorrect her behavior, but that leads to her being like more stepped on and used in the industry. And
well, yeah, because as a child actor, she didn't realize like the reason she got a lot of roles was because she was popular and cute, but mainly because she was easy to work with. Like, that's why people would use her as a child actor. It's like, as long as you please Kana as a kid, then she would do whatever she needed to do perfectly, and that's why people wanted her. And then when she comes to the realization that because she treated all the help like shit and all the directors like shit, just because she was famous, then she comes to the realization like, oh, it's about, I actually have to make connections and stuff, and since I wasn't pleasant to work with, no one wants to work with me anymore. And it's like, yeah,
but then she goes to the other extreme of it. Yeah,
and then it's like, oh man, it's so shitty for her, because she's actually a really good actor still, but she has to perform to the level that is expected of the show, not what she can perform to. She's being limited by her cast and the actual writing, because it's like, as an actor, there's playing a role well, and then there's playing the character that you're supposed to play.
Yeah.
Like that's something like Aqua does that, where when he acts, it's like when he gets first introduced to acting as a child actor, it's like, I'm not a good actor. I don't know how to act. I'm not a professional actor, but I do understand what you want me to act like.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's what's really good about it. What's a really good actor? It's being able to not just portray the character, but understanding what the director is asking of you from the scene.
Yeah.
It's the vision. It's
meta. I also appreciate the fact that, like, and I not just in this, but anytime I see it where actors are playing actors and they have to act badly. I always appreciate that. And they do that.
I love that. In a TV drama arc, you have that one like that guy that they're playing that's playing the main guy, and he's like so bad and so over the top. He's so emotional,
so melodramatic.
Yeah,
I think his name was Melt.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they end up acting.
I'm sorry to say, but aside from the core cast, I don't remember most of the characters' names.
I remember. I think
they were all models that they wanted to like push.
Yeah, the TV drama that they were filming when Kana offers Aqua another role, it's a TV drama where the agency that was promoting,
an adaptation.
Yeah, it's a
manga adaptation, and the mangaka is fucking beside herself because it's a terrible adaptation.
It's a manga adaptation of a manga from Kaguya-sama. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. But the reason for it is like because the production agency basically was like, look, we just want to promote our male models. Like the main fan base of this series is girls, and we want to promote our pretty male models to these girls. So we don't care about actual acting. So just fucking get pretty guys and have them play a role. And I remember, I think it was Jim Carrey that said, comedy acting is a lot harder than dramatic acting, because as a dramatic actor, anyone can pretend to die. Anyone can pretend to get shot and stuff like that. But not everyone can pretend to be a funny guy while also not being a funny guy. Because you can't know that you're being funny. If you know you're being funny, then people are going to catch on. You're in on the joke. And now it's not funny. It's a very fine line to walk. And that's what's been amazing to me about, like, you know, this is why we talk about all these comedy actors that all of a sudden when they go into serious roles, like Jim Carrey or Adam Sandler or Robin Williams, they're amazing at dramatic roles. Why? Because they were really good at comedy roles. Comedy roles in movies are extremely hard to pull off because you got to be able to sell the character, but you have to know the material you're selling, and you got to be in on the joke, but you got to make sure your audience doesn't know that you're in on the joke, because then it's not funny. It's such a weird thing to think about.
Can we please give Bill Burr more serious acting roles? Because the dude can act.
Bro, dude, Mandalorian, bro. Bill Burr, holy shit. Let me tell you. Yeah,
the dude has that's another legit acting chops.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like that for was it Sweet Now? I think that's what the manga was
Sweet
called.
Today.
Sweet Today. Yeah, and that's like the problem with Sweet Today, where it's like Kana she's a really good actor, but she can't act well because she knows this production is being made to sell the male models. They don't want her to act well. If she acted well, it's going to just bring more realization of how shitty the show is because of the other actors. Yeah. And I was like, that sucks so much for her.
Yeah, it's not a good position to be in as an actor who actually wants to do well. But there are like adaptations that are done specifically for the reason that they're making it here. And this happens a lot in like anime productions, I think, where like for a long time, anime was just made to sell source material. It wasn't made to tell an actual story.
I mean, I'd argue that most anime is still made to sell source material.
It's not quite the same as it used to be, because now we got anime definitely not 9, 10 seasons.
Yeah, because we don't get like freaking go read the manga ending.
Yeah,
like we used to. That used to be so common, and I hated it so much.
Baccano.
But you can only imagine how many times like a mangaka would like how they portray it in the show will be like, oh, they're making an anime for my manga. That's so cool. And then they see it and it's like, you see all the changes are made.
Yeah, because
and they're all made for like some fucking producer's taste. It's like ridiculous.
So one thing to note about like Japanese culture in general, right? If they pick you up for a series, right? Like let's say you're a manga artist, a creator or something, a mangaka. Your editor, your publishing studio, and your editor that picks you up, they will give you suggestions, and they basically have final say on like this is what you should focus on, this is what sells, because they have the market research. They're the ones who can make money. So you kind of have to listen to them. Like, Sensei, you're a genius and we love what you're writing. However, we think we should focus more on this. These are suggestions, right? Yeah. And then if you're lucky enough to get an anime adaptation, now it's up to the producers to make a good thing. Like, you don't have final say on your product. I mean, I guess if you're someone like Kubo Tite or something, like,
or Araki
then it's like I have final say. It's very rare though that you would get a mangaka who would do that though.
Even like someone like Araki got edited though because he wanted to add Whole Horse to the Stardust Crusaders and his editor wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you need like a good like someone to rein you in to like kind of you know.
But the thing is, when you get adapted to an anime, you're at the mercy of the production studio, at their directors, and at every single person
production committee.
Yeah, you are at their mercy because you're not the one who puts the money up for this. It's them.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, why would I help you produce this show with my money if I can't make it the way that I know how to make it to make me money? It doesn't make sense.
I bet Maruyama was...
Go ahead.
No, I bet Maruyama wasn't there for the Overlord production committee to be like, yeah, I want it to be just like this. Like, not really.
As far as I know, Maruyama didn't... he was excited for the animes, but I'm pretty sure he was only excited because he was getting extra money from it.
I do think from, how like, you
Blu-ray sales and stuff. Then
I do think how that mangaka
showing.
Excuse me.
I do think how the mangaka reacts in Oshi no Ko is kind of indicative of how probably a lot of mangaka react when their anime adaptations get butchered.
Oh yeah, because it's like don't have high hopes because it's never going to be adapted how you want it to be.
But publicly, like she puts on a brave face.
Well, yeah, because you can't like. Japanese culture is very polite. You don't go up to something and be like, yeah, that was shit. Like, I'm serious. If you go to a restaurant in Japan, right? Even if the food fucking blows, you don't go, that food fucking sucked. You go, oh, thank you for the food. That was great.
Yeah.
Like,
but even then, like,
it was rude. If you don't say that, you're fucking rude.
But then again, like, it's so satisfying to see how, like, Aqua and Kana's efforts at the end did pay off, at least for the mangaka. When she watches that final episode, she's like, yes, that's like the essence of my work. That it's like it shines through, and she gets all teary-eyed.
Well, yeah, because you know, like when actors get into the role because they actually love the material, it works really.
It shows.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, yeah,
freaking him getting into the role for
The Witcher,
for Geralt of Rivia. I loved him in season. I loved his Geralt. Right. He's amazing at it.
Wait until the Warhammer adaptation.
Bro, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I can't wait.
Waiting.
But, you know, that's what's really good. Like, because there's so many levels of... We as a society have spent so long perfecting entertainment, right? We have so much depth to how we perceive and consume entertainment. And we have so many levels and we can notice so many things. And it's so minute, you know. Not only do you have to have a good writer, you have to have a good screenplay. You've got to have a good director, right? You've got to have someone who knows how to frame it properly, right? You've got your editing department who needs the lighting. Lighting is very important. Music,
Hollywood's kind of forgotten how to do that recently.
And then you have just the actors too. It's like all these working parts to make
sure that it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah, it's like when you do it well, it exemplifies and it just makes everything so much better. And I loved the screenplay art, or what arc is it? The manga based TV drama arc is what you named it.
Yeah, that's
the TV drama arc. I loved it because it showed me so much of like, this is why I like watching movies. This is why I like watching stuff in general, actually, not just movies, but just watching entertainment media, because I get to see all this collaborative effort of everyone involved. There's so many things that if you don't do it right, it would ruin it. And so many more things that if you do it perfectly, no one will know.
Yeah.
To kind of move this along. So the only reason that Aqua even decided to do this is because he found out the producer on this particular TV drama was one of the names in Ai's phone that she could have talked to before she died.
Spend every day cracking that code. Yeah.
He spent
every
day.
Took him like half a year or something. I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something
to brute
crazy.
force it.
To brute force a 4-digit pin.
Yeah, 4-digit pin. But yeah, in the end, you find out it wasn't even him.
And so the red herrings begin.
And so the red herrings
begin. And that's always going to be on the back burner of like, who's the dad? We don't know.
Which, to be fair, in the rest of this season, at least, it kind of goes on the back burner. Because the rest of the season is mostly just character development.
Oh, yeah, because surprise, surprise, Aqua isn't the only character in this show.
Yeah, surprise.
Which is funny how like Ruby, after that first episode, Ruby just kind of is on the sidelines till the very end of the season.
Yeah. Which we go into the next arc, which I call the reality dating show arc, which I just want to ask, is it just me, or does the idea of like a high schooler dating reality show seem a little icky?
It's a bit unethical, it seems.
It seems a little unethical.
I mean,
oh, here we go.
So,
tell us how it's not actually pedophilia.
It's not pedophilia. It's entertainment. In Japanese television,
exploitative
a lot of
entertainment.
Very.
So
I would argue that's a lot of reality entertainment.
A lot of Japanese entertainment is focused a lot on how happy and how cool and awesome stuff is. Okay, like every fucking TV show that they have is always fucking, here's this hot up and coming idol or comedian or talk show host or whatever reacting to stupid fucking shit. Like, sugoi! Like, I'm serious. It's fucking Japanese TV is the worst. I hate it. Actual Japanese TV is terrible. So I could definitely see a producer wanting to produce something like here's popular idol, or not idols, but popular young teenagers in the entertainment industry that we're going to basically just fake a dating show, because everything is fake. Yeah. Right? Like that's kind of the deal with the Japanese TV. Everything has to be hyper, like awesome, positive, and fake. But they're all in on it. They all know it's
very
fake,
artificial.
kind of.
Yeah.
And like the whole like setup to this is like it's a reality dating show where it's the question asked is anyone going to end up dating at the end of the show? Where it's already decided beforehand who's going to get together.
No, not really. They didn't decide. So the entire production of the show was based around, we're just going to film you kids and just remember that there's always a camera. So promote yourselves. That's the premise of it was
these things.
You guys, you are up and coming actors, idols, or whatever. You're up and coming people in the industry. You need to sell your entertainment to make us money. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's, to be honest, it's how all reality TV show is.
More
right?
or less.
Just selling a personality to the TV. Yeah. And what I really liked about this arc was the cyberbullying stuff, like the harassment online.
Powerful,
There's a lot of commentary about, and they actually got in trouble because of this in Japan. There was a Japanese wrestler that committed suicide in a very similar way because of online harassment. The exact same way
they basically they had it's like Big Brother. Do you know what Big Brother is?
Yeah.
Has everyone seen Big Brother? Okay, so the reality show Big Brother. Yeah, I know, unfortunately. So this Japanese, in real life, a Japanese wrestler, an up and coming, actually, no, she was pretty famous, wasn't she?
She was relatively famous at the time, yeah.
Yeah, she went on this reality TV show where it's like, here are up and coming talents in Japan's industry. And she had an incident where I believe, she hit some other guy's hat off his head or something because he didn't do the fucking laundry or something. I think it was like, it was something like, something that you would, it's super different because for us in the West, we have certain reality TV show stuff where we watch it, like fucking Jersey Shore. Remember Jersey Shore?
God,
the fucking Guidos and all the fucking trashy shit that happens.
Snooki.
All the reality TV that we have in the West is super trashy, right? That's what sells here. So us seeing things like, oh, she literally got pissed off at this dude for not doing the dishes or doing the laundry, and she fucking flips her hand, like, what the heck, dude? And then it accidentally hits his hat off. We're just like, whatever. That's nothing, right? Literally, there was the episode of, remember Snoop Dogg had that dating TV show?
What?
Yeah, vaguely.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So
that.
A bunch of celebrities here get fucking dating TV shows or whatever. Like Flava Flav had one. I remember there was one. It was so fucking dumb, a dating TV reality show. One of the girl contestants literally shit on the floor. I'm not kidding.
No.
Yes, this was in the fucking TV show.
That's a caper right there if I ever saw one.
I think it was Flava Flav's Search for Love or something. One of the girls gets...
No, Search for Love, indeed.
She shit on the floor.
Love is a giant turd, Natai.
But like literally, Western reality TV is super trashy because that's the shit that's on air. Okay, so this Japanese wrestler doing that little like hand thing, and she accidentally hits his hat off. Like, to me, as a Western viewer of reality TV, I'm like, what? Like, who cares, right? That's not a big deal. But the Japanese fans, like, just they lit her the fuck up. She's like, oh, you're so fucking rude. I can't believe you do that. You should fucking kill yourself. And one thing that you need to understand about Japanese Twitter online stuff, Japanese online communities, is that Japanese people are very polite, right? They're very polite in their society. They are fucking vicious online, bro. Like, they literally, you fuck up one time. Okay, you fuck up one time. 10 years down the road, you will still have trolls and haters that will always bring that up, that you fucked up, that you did that. They do not let it go. They are fucking vicious. And this is what happened to her. She got bullied by a bunch of people online for doing that fucking little hat hit thing. And then she kills herself because she's just like, she had enough of it. And I was just like, it's so fun.
So what was the controversy towards Oshinoko in relation to that?
In the show, right, Akane sort of I forget which name of the girl that is.
She scratches her face.
And scratches
the
her
model's face. Yeah.
And so after that incident, she gets cyberbullied like relentlessly online, and it's almost exactly what happened to that wrestler on the Big Brother like show.
Yeah, and it's like Akane did, first and foremost, if you're getting harassed online, we always say this, do not feed the trolls. Do not engage. And the worst thing you could ever do is apologize. Because the fact that you are acknowledging something happened means it got to you. Now these trolls have an end to fuck with you. And it's so weird that it's like that. And so when that happened in the anime in Oshinoko with Akane, like it hit really close to, you know, for content create shit, because it's like you'll go through hundreds and hundreds of comments of support, our people loving you, adoring your stuff, you know, like keep up the great work and stuff like that, and it fills you with so much love and like, fuck, this is why we make content, right? Then you get that one fucking person who just knows how to fucking stick you with the knife and twists, and you're just like, it's gonna ruin your fucking day, dude. And the only advice you can give to that is like, just ignore it. Just, you got to move on. You got to ignore it.
Which is very hard if you're...
It is extremely hard. Especially on like Twitter, where they're literally just adding you all the time, and you got like millions
of notifications. You mean threads? Threads, right?
Yeah.
Are they threads now?
No, that's Instagram launched a Twitter like thing, and it's called Threads, and now Twitter is suing them because they basically just hit control copy, control paste to make the service.
I didn't know that. What?
Meta owns this service,
but you know what? Number one, we got to meet the true best girl of this show. Her name is Memcho.
I fucking love Memcho, bro. YouTuber girl, e-girl. Come on, bro.
But she actually has that
e-girl.
She has that little scene where she talks about like online content creators, because she's a YouTuber. That's what she does. And he's like, no matter what I do, whether no matter when I go live, no matter when I make content, I always have to put on the happy face, whether I'm actually happy or I'm sad or I just had my mother die. Like, I have to put on that happy face because that's what people expect, and it's not easy.
Yeah, because unfortunately, when you make content, you are a person online, and this is your persona now. Like for example, Hololive, right? Like Korone, she's every time she's on stream and she's like, it's her stream, She always has that like happy-go-lucky attitude, like a lot, like she's like ex potato, no ex potato. She's like a little dog, right? She acts like a little hyperactive dog. But then in the streams where she wasn't planning on streaming, but she joined someone else's stream to just play games with them. She's super low energy because it's like it's tiring being that person all day.
Which I look at someone like in whole life, someone like Pekora who streams 2, sometimes 3 times a day, and she keeps up that energy. I'm like, how do you do this without just? I don't either you have a lot of genuine energy that's like that, or you're in some serious therapy.
I have no idea, but I think that the reality dating show arc it does really well in exposing the online content creation just in general, exposing like the bad things. Because a lot of people, I get it. Everyone looks at YouTubers and
Charlie Markiplier,
content creators. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Everyone looks at content creators and wishes I could be a content creator.
I wish I was Logan Paul.
Yeah, me too, dude. I wish I was Logan Paul and Jake Paul and all this other stuff.
I'd rather be dead.
I wish I
jump
could
off a building.
Well, yeah, I wish I could sit in front of a computer. It's every day, bro. Yeah, I wish I could sit in front of a computer for 6 to 8 hours a day and make millions of dollars, right? Just being me. But the thing is, being me is not who I really am. Because if I was really, because everyone's just a regular fucking person, man. It doesn't matter how many millions of subs they have, how much money they make. They are a fucking person.
Some people are better at taking things than others, though.
Yeah. And it's like, you got to understand that if you want to go into content creation, there are things you have to consider. Memcho talks about this, like when they make the apology video, where they're like, we're going to release the behind the scenes thing. And then Aqua's like, oh, I'll handle it. And Memcho's like, oh yeah, do you know the perfect time to post? Do you understand like like all this other shit like that goes into like surprise, surprise, there's an actual algorithm to how you should post things. There are certain days that are better and certain times that are better, depending on the content that you're posting and the right hashtags that you need to do. There's an actual amount of effort you have to put in to get people to click on your shit. It sucks. It's chasing the fucking algorithm is what we, we're on YouTube. We worship the almighty YouTube algorithm sama. Okay. Like, yeah, you guys are bowing same time.
We did it in sync too. That was great.
That's the power of the
algorithm.
But it's true though. We do research and we have to know when to post, what times to posting, and then you got to think about how to title things, what the hashtags are, because what's popular, what's not. It's just something you have to do as a content creator. And seeing the work that a lot of people have to put in, it's not as easy as it seems. Of like, I turn on a camera and I play games for 8 hours. It's not that easy. No. I wish it was that easy. I do not.
And sometimes like some of the most work that's put into is that part of making it look easy and natural and relatable.
Like, the work you don't see is the hardest work.
Yeah, like I think Super Apache made a really fascinating video about like all these like YouTube courses of people literally trying to like scam people to like teach them how to become successful on YouTube, which is just a fucking lie. And it's like people generally look so relatable, but like I'm standing right now, I'm reading off a teleprompter. Like this is me trying to look as most relatable as it can be.
Yeah, for I'm a scripted character.
Yeah,
I'm literally an NPC. I have a script in front of me reading off. This is what I should say. This is how I should say it. It's very controlled. Then I practice a cadence. I'll have multiple takes. Like there's, I guess for us,
they do at the end of that the reality show that they're doing. Like by the end of it, they're like, okay, stand here, say these things. You're gonna get rejected. You're gonna say yes.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah,
I think it's a really good arc just for like, because of how prolific online content creation is and how many people want to be an online content creator. It's like, you understand that it's not for everyone.
And the reaction from the crowd, the online crowd, is like so harsh. It's so relentless.
Yeah, I can't wait for us to get canceled because of Alex. And then I'll be like, all right, well, it was a good run, guys.
Stop Stop campaigning for the incest ending, please.
Stop it, Alex. Stop trying to cancel us.
Give the people what they want.
The people? You mean you?
There is only one way we can have I back. They gotta Aqua and Ruby gotta take one for the team.
I hate all of this so much.
Can I leave the podcast now?
But anyway, throughout the course of this reality dating show arc, at the end of it, Akane and Aqua, like, they're like the chosen couple. They hook up on the show, and there's like this question is like, are we actually going to do this for real, or is we just going to keep this up for a while? It's like a business thing. And I like how all through this little arc, you see Kana get more and more fucking jealous.
Oh, yeah, she's had the biggest crush on Aqua since he was a kid. Like, she was shook right when she got outperformed by Aqua as a kid.
We were watching this and we were doing a watch party on a server through this, and about halfway through the show, I had this revelation. I didn't know anything about the dub cast or anything they'd done for the English dub, and I thought, Kana's gonna get voiced by Monica Rial. I swear to God she is, because she just seems like the character. And then the next week I found out that they actually cast Monica Rial's sister as Kana.
That's funny. Close enough.
I was almost right. But yeah, I like that little jealousy that develops, and it kind of leads into the final arc where by the end of it you realize there's like this budding like love triangle between Akane, Kana, and Aqua.
Oh my God. And there's also like Akane and Kana hate each other because like
they were rivals.
They were rivals because Kana is known as like the genius child actor, and then Akane is known as like the new up and coming like play actor. Not really like movie actor, but the new genius,
a new
right?
genius.
Yeah, and it's just like butting of heads between those two, and they like the same dude, and it's just like, oh shit, here's the rom-com aspect.
And he's dense to it all. Ugh.
I mean, he's not. Just wait till
I do like how he's kind of like, so throughout after what happened with Akane is like, obviously he's not interested in romantically, but it's like this is a good opportunity because she's from that school of acting that we're gonna like learn more about in the second season. It's like it's almost going to do that Light Yagami type of like where he's gonna use her to his own gain to advance and get more information about this mystery. I like that dynamic. It's really interesting.
Yeah, so, Aqua is a very calculating dude.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning that in the background throughout like the last arc and a little bit in the first arc or first major arc as well after the first episode, a big like thread that's going on is B Komachi, who was Ai's like idol group that she was a part of, is being reformed by Strawberry Productions, who is the talent agency that Ruby and Aqua are working for, and like they're trying to reform it. So they got Ruby on board as like the first like signed on idol talent, and then they
the main force behind forming it.
Yeah, and then they have Kana join, and then at the end of the reality dating show arc, Aqua convinces Memcho to actually join the idol group, and that's actually the last like major arc of the season. Is like the reforming of that group, figuring out who's going to be the center, and then actually doing their first major performance together.
So I've got to launch a complaint.
Oh boy, here we go.
One of the few complaints I have about the anime is that in the manga they spent a lot longer showcasing like the world of idols, which I know more about. So I'm like, it's cool that this is being thrown out.
You and I have talked about this. Like the world of idols is fascinating. It's good music, a lot of it, but it's a shitty atmosphere to be in.
Well, like because there's different types of idols, right? Like in the beginning when Ruby says, "I want to be an idol," Aqua goes like, "What kind of idol? Like you gonna do an underground idol, Chica idol, right? Like Chica idols, so underground idols, they're not really meant to get pop. Like the dream is if you're a Chica idol, you will be super popular and make a shitload of money. The reality, you're like 99% of it, probably not. You barely make enough money to live. It will just be a shitty part-time job, to be honest. And you have to, because you pay. So a lot of like Chica idol stuff, you pay for the costumes because you're renting them from the agency. You're paying for your own. You got to bring your own makeup, pay for your own makeup. How you make money is you sell pictures and handshakes and stuff. And the only way you can, autographs and handshakes after a show. And it's like you got to do performing, you got to do singing, songwriting, stuff like that. Like it sucks. It honestly fucking sucks. And there's obviously, they talk about it a little bit in the very beginning when Ruby wants to be an idol, that as a cheek idol, there are certain people who get pushed to the front to be like, this person's going to sell us a bunch of money. And they're the favorite. Either they're sleeping with like the producer or the manager or something, or, you know, something's happening that's fucky that makes it so they can make more money than you. And it's fucked up. And I was like, they didn't go into that much depth and detail about it in the anime compared to the manga, because they talk a little bit more about it, which I like. And especially when they talk about like, if you want to be an up and coming new idol, when they get to the with the new idol arc, they get to perform at what was it? Idol Fest?
Japan Idol Fest.
Japan Idol
JIF.
Fest. Yeah, JIF, which is
My name is a GIF.
It's a GIF. It's a huge event where basically idol groups can go and perform, and this is like a collection. And you know, the idol industry is fucking huge. Like, not only is it cheek idol, it's actual idol groups there. Actual like fucking AKB48 type of people, like fucking Another idol group. I don't know.
The
French Ocho.
Yeah, sure, why not?
They're an actual idol group. I mean, it's not just
Japanese idol groups. But oh my god, Momoiro Zero, Pink Clover Z, the either Baby Metal. There's I don't know Baby Metal.
Baby Metal is, I guess it's
Well, Baby Metal was.
I do like how in the show they show the other like idol groups, that the idol chit chat between them, and it's like some of them only see this as a stepping stone to a different part of the entertainment industry.
Can you blame it though, with how fickle it is?
Well, yeah, because they do talk about like being an idol sucks, because basically most people don't make money. It's hard to become the top performing idol, and what it's really useful for is just to be a stepping stone. Because, you know, once you go from like I was a kind of popular idol, now you can go into acting and stuff like that. They show that at the very beginning of like she's obviously an idol, you know, performing and stuff, but she wants to branch out and become like an actor. And that's real, that's true. Like, you leverage your positions like that, because as an idol, if you get popular, you get to meet more people, you make more connections, you network, and now all of a sudden you can become someone who doesn't have to rely on millions and millions of fans. You'll have production agencies and stuff like that. You have other people working for you.
Yeah.
So I really wish they showed a little bit more of like the toughness of being an idol, because they show like, all right, so they show like the girls training and stuff like that, and they do a montage, which I'm like, okay, sucks that you showed a montage instead of like the actual work and effort they had to put into learning the songs, learning the moves and stuff like that. And then they also like they kind of hand wave a bunch of stuff during this arc, which is why I was like,
that scene, or that group of scenes where they're doing all the training stuff with Aqua in the costume of the one workout.
That was fun. But I do feel John is like getting right in the head. The problem that I have with this final arc is like things are moving by so quickly, and I'm like, it kind of hand waving.
Actually put in the work.
Yeah, like I never got to see how Ruby is actually a decent singer. They sort of joke about she's not great, but is she good enough to have the scene where perform like, though?
Literally, the center is going to be Kana, because she can sing and dance, right? It's like, okay, Memcho.
But about the other two?
Yeah, it's like Memcho can't really can sing a little bit, but she can't dance. Ruby can dance, but she can't really sing.
But it's still like how 2 weeks later.
Yeah. I like how in this arc you find out that Memcho has been lying about her age for years.
Thank God, too. I was like, oh my God, she's super hot. And it's like, oh God, she's underage. Oh God. Wait, no, she's actually 25, I think.
20,
right?
That's 25.
She's 26.
26. She's closer to 30.
That's
and I'm like, thank God.
That's the issue I just had with this final. Like, I just didn't feel as invested in this section of the season as much as I was, especially in episode 1. But then in Akane's arc, in the TV drama, the reality show arc. But yeah, it was kind of disappointing. Just the last batch of episodes, the last arc, it was good. I was enjoying myself, but I was just not invested at all emotionally in the characters, which is kind of a shame because there are like some really cool moments, just like the final moment of the arc when they're performing. You have this sort of like closure, bringing it all back with Aqua holding out the white glow stick for Kana, and then doing the dance he did as a baby.
Big shout out to our hype man.
What a great hype man!
I know, right?
Well, we all need a hype man like that. But yeah, this final arc was kind of disappointing for me.
Yeah, I get how people would think that.
When we have the first two arcs, it does really well at showcasing like, here's the industry, here's the fucked up shit, and here's like the building and a building of the character arcs and building of the characters, the actual characters themselves and stuff like that. And it's like it's all done really well. And then you get hit the final arc, and it's like I get that there was too much to stuff in there, so they only left in the important stuff. And of course, yes, it got the message across, but I just wanted more because I'm like, this is actually super interesting too. However, we still have a chance because the idol arc doesn't technically end just yet. It doesn't end here. There's more to it. So
that's what I was gonna say. Like, so at the very end of this, like the season itself ends on kind of a cliffhanger. Obviously, there's still a lot of like story threads that are out there, but it's like, so we find out at the very end that there's this very popular manga that's getting a stage adaptation, and in this particular manga, there is a love triangle between the characters. Of course, the characters that are in an actual love triangle get cast as those characters. And I like how it seems like even behind the scenes, like not just with Aqua, but like the director that he's been working with is like Aqua's like being a protege for, and then this person who is like another producer that's going to be part of the stage play. It's almost like everyone's got their own little angle that they're looking at for this. It's like I got my own little like nefarious purpose.
Because this is the industry. That's the industry.
That's the industry. That's how it works, dude. They're selling because like even with the director of the stage play and the director of the TV adaptation, the manga adaptation, they were like saying, no, you owe me a favor because I'm helping you do this. And it's like, no, you owe me a favor because I'm helping you do this. And it's like, that's actually how it works.
Yeah.
Like they're all smiles and being pleasant, but it's like in reality, it's like I'm the one above you right now because I'm helping you out.
Yeah. But I do like that the sort of cliffhanger that it ends on with them getting cast in this, and it's like, all right, well, I guess we're going to just see how well this goes and how much this love triangle just keeps developing when they're actually having to portray a love triangle.
So I will say that the idol arc is kind of be like, it's going to be like the B plot now. Like it's happening at the same time as the next arc is going to happen, obviously, but the idol stuff is still a B plot. So it will still have both of those. So it should probably bounce back and forth between those two in the next season.
And yeah, a second season has been announced. In fact, it was announced the day the first season ended. I wasn't shocked at all to find that out. But
sure.
If I had to guess going forward, or maybe not entirely going forward, but at least a major part of the second season is probably going to revolve more around like the trying to find the father with that, but also trying to find more evidence about who Aqua and Ruby's actual father is. And then the idol stuff is going to take more of a background like position.
I hope so, because
if I had to guess,
I really gravitate towards the mystery aspect of the show and delve into the industry and seeing the darker side of it. I think it's just the more interesting parts of the show. Yeah,
agreed.
But Aqua as like a main character to anchor it all, I think is a perfect protagonist for this series. I love it as a character. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah. And oh man, I know so much about what's about to happen, bro. Like oh man, I really want to talk about it.
Well, guess what? You're gonna have a chance to talk about it when the second season comes out.
Yeah.
Did they say if it's coming next year or later today?
I don't remember if they've said thus far. It's been announced. I have to imagine it's going to be sometime within the next year to year and a half.
I definitely don't think they're gonna do another feature length like first episode though.
I'd be shocked
probably
to find that out. If this is, which I suspect it will be, a complete adaptation, I wouldn't be surprised if the final episode ends up being feature length.
We'll see. Time will tell.
But yeah, apparently the manga is still ongoing, but it is nearing completion.
Oh yeah, it's wrapping up. It's like
it's getting real close to being done.
5 more chapters or something.
I have a feeling that this is going to be a complete like anime adaptation, which if so, I'm looking forward to. I'm sure a lot of people are.
Yeah,
as
sure.
Well.
It's a good show.
Yeah, that is the first season of Oshi no Ko. Please tell us down below what you thought of the show. If you've gotten this far and you haven't watched yet, bless you.
Why? What are you doing?
What are you doing here? We just spoiled the show for you. Go watch it.
Go read the fucking manga.
Yeah, that too. But thank you everyone for dropping in to listen to us talk about this anime that we love so much in the spring season. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you saw and want to see more. Check down below where you can find links to Anime Club After Dark on Twitch. You can also join our Discord server down below, and we have a merch store where you can support us as well. With that, I have been your host Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, guys.
Good night, guys.
I'm Natai. Just let them take one for the team. We can have back.
Oh my god.
No. Stop it. God. They're brother and sister. Leave it alone.
Not spiritually, only physically. There's an out. There's an out here for us. We can have this.
Alex looking for the loophole in the contract that allows the incest to win.
Listen, just let me have this.
No, I won't.
John just had enough.
I'm going to sleep. I'm all right. See you. Bye.